Jerusalem and open up. Guess I'm doing this.
Let us pray. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Praise the Lord, for he is good, and his mercy endures forever. Praise the Lord God of Israel, for he is good, and his mercy endures forever. In Jesus' holy name we pray. The King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, and the Holy One of Israel. Amen. Our scripture reading today is coming from Psalms 1, verses 1 and 2. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. Again, this scripture reading is comes from Psalms 1, verses 1 and 2. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading of his word. In Jesus' name, amen.
Spirit,
Give him another hand. Praise the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Peace to everybody that's here. In the name of Jesus. Peace to everybody tuning in online, wherever you're at. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Got all this technology, can't keep up with it. Cut that off, whatever technology that is. Good to be here. Continue to celebrate the Lord's Sabbath. Lesson. We started last night. Basic lesson, but needs to be reminded, like everything in the Bible, like I mentioned recently. Paul say in Philippians 4, for me to write the same things to you, to me, is not grievous. Same thing with teaching. For me to teach the same thing, even though I haven't taught that lesson probably in 2-3 years last night. But we're going to eventually go over them. So for me to teach the same thing does not bother me. We might readjust it some. But for you, he said, it's safe. It's safe because we got to keep these things in mind. Keep them in our mind. It's easy to let things slip. And it's so much in the Bible, it's hard to even keep up with it. Like this lesson today, type of lesson like this, I say. I don't know, it's been a few years, I think. It's hard to keep up with it. But last night, to give and forgive was the lesson. To give and forgive. That's the mindset the Lord is giving his people, his servants, to have a giving spirit. And a forgiving spirit, because they go hand in hand. That takes you to be given to forgive. So, and that's all over the Bible, from examples of even in the beginning. We didn't read that in Genesis. Right in the beginning, when Cain and Abel were born, they got the message. They understood that they needed to offer something to the Lord, pay respect to the Lord, pay homage. So they understood they had to give something, but like we touched on last night, you want to do your best. You don't want to do it grudgingly. You don't want to do it, and you really don't want to do it, because that's almost just as bad. You want to do your best. So we get that example right in the beginning, Genesis 4, Cain. He brought an offering. He brought an offering. He brought something to the Lord. And he evidently didn't take time to consider, didn't do what the best thing he could have did with it. And the Lord didn't care for what he brought, even though, pay attention, he brought something to the Lord. He did bring something to the Lord. This Jake took my water, you don't know. But
My bad, T.
That's all right. That's all right. Bring another one. So, I ain't got none of that. But anyway, I thought it was mine. Oh. So Cain brought an offering, but it wasn't acceptable to the Lord. Abel brought an offering. It was acceptable because it specified that Abel did the best he could do. He brought the best. He gave her the best. He gave her off the top of what he had. That's the same thing. That's where the principle even of tithes come in, giving. And the same thing with forgiving. That's the same spirit, because you have to give of yourself to be forgiven. And people have tried to limit it because people get on your nerve. You don't want to be bothered with them. And people even Peter tried to limit that. I got it. Thank you. Peter tried to limit that with Jesus. He said, well, how many times do I have to forgive this Jake? 7 times. We can stop at 7 because 7 do represent completion all over the Bible, right? We can stop at 7, right, Jesus? Jesus said, no, I don't say 7. I say 70 times 7. That had to blow Peter's little game plan out the window. 70 times 7. Which some of y'all know math, you know what that is, but he don't intend for you to even count that far. Just showing you there's no limit to it. So that was last night. Whole nother lesson today. And we always got stuff in the news. You can always count on stuff to happen in the news, even surrounding Israel, which is a black people that's cursed by God. And that's the problem we don't understand. So recently in the news, you had this brother got killed, George Floyd, got killed last year, of course. And riots broke out and all that stuff. Everybody know that whole story. And so recently, the police officer got convicted, which is a shock to a lot of people, and a lot of people happy because I say black people, but we know Israelites, we take any consolation prize. And that was good. I mean, obviously it was wrong, but we take any consolation prize, any type of victory we're happy about because we're not used to getting victories. So we take anything. I'm talking about Israel was so excited, and I'm not going to lie to you. I was happy. Now, I ain't even talking about last week. I was happy last week too, but I'm talking about when OJ got off. Israel was out there dancing because we take any consolation. That don't have nothing to do with you. That ain't going to change nothing for you. Even the verdict last week not going to change nothing. It's not going to change nothing. But we take any consolation prize because we're not used to getting no breaks whatsoever. I'll never forget when OJ was said not guilty. I was with some Gentiles too. I just happened to be among some Gentiles. I was making a delivery somewhere in the suburbs, southwest suburbs of Chicago. Making a delivery, they got the TV on, a little family-owned business. So it's not many of them, maybe about 5 or 6. Some women, man. They got, the verdict about to come in. They got the TV on. I'm like, look, sign my paperwork, because I know what's about to happen, and y'all going to be pissed. Sign my paperwork. So we sitting there, of course, the verdict about to come in. They turn it up. I'm standing there with them. I might as well see. Of course, it said not guilty. I'm talking about, it was some Gentile sisters. Them women, they broke out crying immediately. They just started crying. Me and the dude looked at each other, the white dude. We looked at each other, and he was trying to help them, I guess. He said, I told you. See, I told you. I said, yeah, I knew it was going to happen. Now, let me get the heck out of here. But Israel happy because we're not used to getting no victories. We've been oppressed so long, we'll take anything. So that verdict last week came in. Which should have been, you don't even seem like you need a trial for that, but they went through it and had the trial. And it went the way that most people in the whole world thought it should have went. The guy got convicted. How much time and all that, you'll see about that. But why is it always something that we got to deal with and we got to be happy for any type of little vindication? Because we obviously got a serious problem going on. Black people got a serious problem. And everybody will acknowledge that. Exactly what the problem is, people can't come to a conclusion on that. So we're going to talk about it today. The title is Black People's Only Solution. Black People's Only Solution. This is the only solution. And I started to put that new saying they got at the end of this title, but I opted out. Black people's only solution, period. This is it. No doubt about it. This is our only solution. And most people that deal with the word should know what it is. But everybody's been looking for a solution. Even white people have been looking for a solution for black people. They were like, they need something. They just get done bad. White people know that. Years ago, I was watching some type of little conference. I think it was they had a new Black Panther party. I think they was doing it, but it was kind of Muslim type oriented. But they had general people. They had this black professor. I guess he's a former professor now. They had him on the panel, different speakers coming up to try to talk about this. Talk about the problem and what the solution is. So that's what they was focusing on. What's the solution? What do we need to do? So they was focusing on it, and this brother shocked the whole house. Now, this is a former professor, and they had it all on the news. Of course, some of the commentators, they wanted to definitely pub it up because of what he said. He said, look, before he gave it, he said, I'm going to give you the solution, what we need to do. But then, before he did it, he started talking. He said, when I was coming in here, I seen this brother out there smoking. He's smoking. So he said, look, the white people going to kill him, and then they're going to make money off his death. They're making money killing him, and they're going to make money off his death. So he talked about all of that, and then he got up, he said, I have found the solution to all these problems that black people got. Kill all the white people. I ain't lying, that's what he said. And you had militants in the audience. You had militants in the audience, even they gasped. They was like, ooh, ooh. He said, I found it. He was serious. I forgot the brother's name. Somebody might know it because I know somebody else seen it because this wasn't no secret. He said, I got the solution. Kill all the white people. Of course, Fox News, they had some of the other brothers on there. Did you hear what he said? He said, what do you think? And of course, none of them black militants, one of them, I think he died now, Zinga, one of the new Black Panther brothers, they had him on Hannity, and you heard what the professor said? Are you going to repudiate that? The militants ain't going to give in at nothing. He said, no, I will not repudiate. He said, what I will do, I will study it. Why would the professor make a statement like that? That's what I want to know. I said, boy, this is something else. So obviously there's a problem that does need a solution. We're going to look at it from the Bible standpoint. Black people's only solution. And to get to the solution, well, we're going to start in Amos 3. To get to the solution, you really got to narrow down the problem too. What is the problem? There's too many of them, really. That's part of the problem. Police killings, you'll say that. People say, well, the police killing too many black people. But then somebody going to say, well, you killing yourself. Oh, another problem. We too poor. Somebody going to say that. Somebody going to say we not good at economics, buying from each other. So the list going to go on when you get done with it. The penal institution, the judicial system, and the penal institution is crooked toward black. That's the problem. Everybody, see, it's too many problems. So really, you got to cut to the chase and go to the ultimate source. If you believe in God, brothers and sisters, who is in control of everything? Obviously, God. But that go out the window even for the average black person when it comes to looking for the solution. And they go to church. They in church every week, and when they look at the oppression that they people go to, they never come back and consider why God doing it, why God allowing it even. They never put it back where it belongs, that God is in control, brothers and sisters. Let's take a look at it. Black people's only solution, Amos 3 and verse 6. Read that one verse, and then we're going to bounce and come back. Amos 3 and 6. Go ahead.
Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord have not done it?
Wait a minute. A lot of stuff that we be dealing with, with Israel, of course, it's in a city, right? A big city. Because Israel migrated from down south. They call it Great Migration in the 40s, 50s, and all of that, even some before that. From down south up north to a lot of metropolitan areas, right? George Floyd, he was killed in the city, right? They talk about Chicago all the time. That's the murder capital right now, but a lot of these cities been the murder capitals in the past. Reason why Gary got on the map for me, if you go back and look, in 1995, 96, actually they said Gary back then was a murder capital. That's per amount of people there and the killing. So a lot of them have taken turns. I'm sure D.C. been the murder capital. So, but all of these are cities. So we're talking about a city. The Bible asks the question whether rather rhetorical. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city, and the Lord have not done it? So there's no evil in no city, because we know the answer to that is no. There won't be no evil in a city that the Lord, because this is a rhetorical question. The answer is no. That's a stark reminder that the Lord is in control of everything that goes on everywhere. That don't exclude from the field, either from the country. And we're going to touch on that, because Israel left the country thinking they're going to have a better time up north in all these cities. How has that worked out? Same script. So, shall there be evil in a city and the Lord have not done it? Absolutely not. So all this evil that we see going on in the cities, who is in ultimate control of it? The white man? No, the Lord. It can't happen if the Lord don't want it to happen, brothers and sisters. That's what black people have not come to the realization of. So first you really got to identify the problem. The problem is not simply limited to police killing, even us killing one another. The problem go back to God. You got to figure out, and actually God got a problem with you, black people. That's what you have to figure out. And once you get to that, then you can easily find the solution. God got a problem, because he allowed all this. He doing all of this. Shall there be evil in the city? The Lord have not done it? Absolutely not. We're going to keep your finger here. We're going to come right back, but go to Jeremiah 18. Go to Jeremiah 18. The Lord says something about this people in the Bible. And that's one of the first things we got to realize, that the people that's going through all of this hell called black people are the people of the Bible. We're going to come right back to Amos 3, where we're going to look at Jeremiah 18, one verse. Read it, verse 11. Go ahead.
Now therefore go to, speak to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, Thus saith the Lord, behold, I frame evil against you.
You mean the Lord told somebody, even if you don't know this is the black people, the Lord, whoever it is, the Lord said, I frame evil against you. You mean God do that? That's the first thing we need to understand. There's no evil going on with nobody, especially us as a people who he chose, unless the Lord is doing it. Now, therefore, go and speak to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. That's when we was still in our own place, saying, Thus said the Lord, behold, I frame evil against you. What else?
Return ye now every one from his evil way.
Read that, finish that again. I frame evil against you, and what?
Return ye now every one from his evil way.
I frame evil against you.
And devise a device against you.
And devise a device against you. See, we be worried about, we be saying, well, the white man, he doing all this plotting. He doing this, he doing that. No, somebody else plotting. Somebody else devising something against you. Because again, nobody can do nothing unless God give it to them to do. Unless God allow them to do it. So the Lord is the one doing it. He said point blank, and this is where people fall off the wagon at, because they don't want to attribute no evil to the Lord. It don't happen without the Lord. That's why he asked the question, shall there be evil in the city and the Lord have not done it? No. There will not. It won't happen. So here, thus said the Lord, behold, I frame evil against you. That's what the Lord said, right? And devise a device against you. But it's still hope. It's still a solution. What is that? Now read your part.
Return ye now everyone from his evil way, and make your ways and your doings good.
Oh, what you need to do, knowing how dangerous the Lord is, how he will frame evil against you. The Lord said, I'm doing it. See, this was when we was in our own land. We had a chance to get it together before all of the evil came down on us. The Lord said, I got it planned. Look, I'm getting ready to hurt you. Do yourself a favor and return to me. Return before I hurt you real bad. Nobody don't understand that this is how God is. I frame evil against you and devise a device against you. Return ye now, everyone from his evil way, and make your ways and your doings good. He's telling you to change. He actually, if you understand this, he just gave you the solution. He gave you the problem and the solution right there in one verse. What's the problem? You have made God mad. What's the solution? Fix that. Turn back to God. That's it. We could go home, but we ain't. You already got the answer. Back to Amos 3. You already got the answer. See, it don't even take all that, too. They be putting on conferences, 16-hour conference. We'll be back tomorrow to discuss it some more. We're going to get to the solution. And they don't never get to nothing. Don't never get to nothing. Look, you got to realize the whole problem centers around God and what you did wrong. Amos 3, verse 1 now. God told you, same place we just read where he said, will there be evil in the city and the Lord not done? He was talking that in reference to what he will do to his own people. 3 and 1, read it.
Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth.
You the only people I know. But what a lot of people don't know, especially even brothers, I had to find it out. Because I got real puffed up when I found out we were the people of the Bible. We the Israelites. I got real puffed. I'm like, we the chosen. I'm the chosen people. I almost lost my mind. I almost thought I had a license to do some wrong and get away with it. I ain't going to say almost. I did act a little crazy. I was even one time, I cursed the police out. Cursed them out. Talking about, didn't even understand then that it wasn't no, the 400 years that the Bible talk about is in Egypt, but I was on that because I was brand new. Straight up a novice. I was talking about the 400 years is almost over. I ain't gonna lie to you, I told the police, you ain't gonna take me by yourself. Y'all been oppressing us too long. 400 years of Babylon gonna fall. I said, I ain't gonna lie. I said all of that. Had a little too much to drink that night. But the bottom line is, what I failed to realize, that being a chosen people come with a whole lot of responsibility, and you got to get your act together. And you in the predicament because God chose you and you didn't do right. You going through great oppression. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the people on the planet, of all the families of the earth. So is it like, well, you so special to me, and that's it? No, what's the end of that?
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Oh, you going to pay then. You're going to pay. You know too much to get away. I will give them a break, but I will bust your head every time. And we look around and wondering why we constantly got a problem we need a solution to. Why we constantly got a police shoot. Why they finally convicted one guy. They convicted that guy. They still, some other ones getting killed. They having a funeral for another brother got killed, right? Even as you got a good verdict once in a lifetime. And again, I know it ain't going to change nothing because I know what the Lord doing, and just common sense lets you know it ain't going to change nothing because the system is still in place that make this stuff happen. And they talking about, well, we got to dismantle the system. Okay, wait on that. Like one commentator said, he said, well, if a whole lot of he was white. He said if a whole lot of young Gentile boys start getting killed more in numbers, he said then they'd really be looking at it. But again, everybody disregarding the one that's really in control, and that's God. And he said he would punish his own people for what they're doing. Go to Daniel 9. Daniel understood it perfectly. And by the way, Daniel was taken as a slave from Babylon, from Israel to Babylon. Got a slave name and everything. So his predicament fits our predicament. Being taken somewhere as a slave. New name and everything. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of black people, they don't think no more about slavery, like slavery don't have nothing to do with our current situation. And, you know, even young people will say, I ain't no slave. I ain't never been no slave. I'm like, Negro, you still got the slave master's name. You still got his name. Look it up. That's where it's going to go back to. Unless you did like some of the brothers and legally change your name. Daniel 9 and 11. Daniel 9 and verse 11. Go ahead and read it.
Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law.
All Israel. And we know Israel is this black people who we talking about. Not all blacks are Israel, but Israel is a black people that's oppressed and cursed, been scattered in bondage and being oppressed to this day. So Daniel took responsibility himself, even though Daniel could have been bitter. He said, well, because Daniel was obviously a decent servant of God, a righteous brother. The Lord showed that all the time. But the Lord let good people be taken into slavery too. So Daniel could have been bitter. Well, why did the Lord let me do it? Because, hey, you're a part of a whole. It's just like when some people say, well, some black people, they can do good, but they still a part of the whole. That's why they went somewhere. I think one of the basketball players, LeBron or somewhere, I believe this happened. I ain't really, because you got to fact check stuff now. But I think they wrote the N-word on his garage or somewhere. Because you got all that money, you make all that money, and even if it did happen, I think it happened, but even if it did, it ain't like it wouldn't happen. Because that's how he is looked upon, just still another, So what did he say here? Daniel is taking responsibility. He said, yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing that what?
That they might not obey thy voice.
Uh-huh.
Therefore the curse is poured upon us.
See, he acknowledged that, he acknowledged the problem, but he acknowledged the source of the problem. We disobeyed. Therefore, yes, the curse is poured upon us. And who ordains a blessing or a curse? Nobody but God. That's why we had a lesson to show you can't just focus on the blessing, because there's no blessing without a curse. And if God can bless you, surely you should understand he could curse you, brother and sister. He could curse you. So all Israel transgressed thy law, even by departing, and we full of churches now that teach against keeping God's law, which only perpetuates the problem, the oppression. He said, therefore the curse is poured upon us. He recognized it on himself. He didn't try to ignore it. People say, no, I'm not going to claim it. Daniel claimed it, didn't he? He acknowledged it. You can't hide from reality. People want to get on that highly spiritual shit. No, I'm blessed and highly favored. You cursed. And worse than that, you don't even know it. Even if you doing okay, look at your people as a whole. That's why people out there marching, doing all kind of stuff. So he said, therefore the curse is poured upon us, and what?
And the oath that is written in the law of Moses.
It's already written somewhere. We need to go read it, but keep reading. Go ahead.
And the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
Because we sinned against him. Keep going.
And he have confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil.
Oh, you mean God? He talking about God? You mean God did it again? He brought upon us a great evil. He told us in Jeremiah. He told us there. See, this happened after the Lord told Jeremiah to tell the people, I frame evil against you, return. And they didn't do it, and eventually the hammer was going to come down on it. It had to. God said it. He said, I devised a device against you. You better fix that before it come on you. So Daniel is acknowledging that it came on us, brothers and sisters. He said, and God, talk about God, he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us by bringing upon us a great evil. So we know, if you didn't know the answer to Amos 3:6, shall there be evil in the city and the Lord have not done it? You know the answer not. No, it will not be. The Lord do it all. Like he did right here, bringing upon a great evil. Go ahead.
For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem.
No, nothing like that to our homeland, but keep going.
As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil has come upon us.
This is the big problem right here. This is why we spinning our wheels. We looking for a solution. We like a hamster on a wheel. Right here. This is it right here. Read it again.
As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil has come upon us. Yet made we not our prayer before the Lord our God, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth.
See, all this evil that came on this people, but yet we don't acknowledge that it's coming from God. When they're having all of these summits, all of these conferences, trying to figure out what's the solution for the black people. What do we need to do? They never get to this. They never acknowledge God. And they all going to be talking about they believe in God, because we are so-called believing in God people. But the problem is we won't serve him like he want to be served, and we are going to attribute our problems to somebody else outside of him. Like he don't have nothing to do with this. No, he got everything to do with it. So we've been doing just this. We would not acknowledge that God is the one bringing the problems on us, and we need to fix our problem with him. That's the solution. First, you got to recognize what the real problem is, though, to get to the solution. He the problem. That's what he's telling us. As it is written, all this evil has come upon us, yet made we not our prayer. Now, we praying enough, but we don't want to be obedient, so your prayer is an abomination to God. So that don't do no good. So you got to understand other scriptures to understand this. We pray more than anybody. We got more churches than anybody, but the problem there is you're not doing that right. Because the problem is being disobedient to God. That's the problem. So you can pray all you want to. If you don't get that together, you still got a problem. As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil has come upon us, yet made we not our prayer before the Lord our God, that we might turn from our iniquities. That's what we need to do. Stop sinning. What is sin? Breaking the law, and you're going to be in church tomorrow talking about the law is done away with. We don't need the law. Hence, the problem keep going on, don't it? You have another shooting. If it don't be the police, hey, we're going to shoot ourselves. That's what I'm saying. You can't even really just limit it to one little problem. Where's police killing? What about your killings? You can't limit it. Go ahead, keep reading.
Therefore hath the Lord watched upon the evil.
You mean the Lord watched upon some evil? What do you mean? Keep reading.
And brought it upon us.
And brought it upon us. The Lord is the one direct evil to you. Right to your doorstep. Somewhere we're going to read it right up in your window in your house. That's why innocent people get killed. Well, why that happen? The Lord trying to get your attention. He's showing you something not right. You get babies just in their house. 3-year-olds sitting out, bullet fly in, kill them. No apparent reason. Except somebody cursed. Go ahead.
For the Lord our God is righteous in all his works which he doeth.
I see the Lord is righteous. He got to specify that because he's telling you the Lord is the one bringing this evil on you. But he's righteous because he said he would do it if you disobey. Go ahead.
For we obeyed not his voice.
That is the problem. We obey not his voice. So that's the solution. Start obeying him. Return to God like he got it written, not like you want to do it. Go ahead.
And now, O Lord our God, that has brought thy people forth out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand, and has gotten thee renown, as at this day we have sinned, we have done wickedly.
Now that's what Daniel is confessing. He acknowledging our problem. He ain't blamed one problem. Matter of fact, Daniel was taken as a slave with a new name in Babylon. He haven't cursed Nebuchadnezzar out one time yet. And none of this happened. He said, the old Gentile, that old white man, and did this to me. He ain't saying none of that, is he? He acknowledging the real problem because he know what the problem is and he know what the solution is. It's on us. Deuteronomy 28, because he quoted Moses. He said, what the Lord had written in Moses, the servant of God, has come upon us. And we always recommend, if you're a black person that don't understand nothing, white people too, for that matter, but especially black people, if you don't understand why you're going through what you're going through and what you need to do, we always recommend a good reading of Deuteronomy 28. And if you don't see yourself in Deuteronomy 28, you need some help. Deuteronomy 28, we're not going to read it all, but just enough to see, because Daniel said what was written there has happened to us. 28 and 15. Go ahead, read it.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day.
What's going to happen to you?
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Oh, all these curses going to come upon thee and overtake thee. Nobody talk about that coming from God. They act like God is only in the blessing business. Somebody got it twisted. Speaking of, the Lord says, shall there be evil in the city, and he have not done it, right? I told you it don't matter where you at, he do it. But we talking city because that's where a lot of the evil is happening in Israel at, right? Go ahead, 16.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Oh, so you curse everywhere. Well, where do it come from? The Lord. And you won't be able to get away from it. So you won't be able to leave the field down south and come up north and get away from it. If you understood this, right? Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field, he said. Saving time, skip to verse 25. Let's look at it a little specifically. Go ahead.
The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies.
First of all, understand it's nobody but the Lord. So your enemies cannot smite you unless the Lord calls it to happen, according to this, right? That's what it said. Why we can't figure this out? It's plainly written in black and white all over the Bible that most of our people say they believe. It's plainly written. The Lord gonna cause you to be smitten before your enemies. That's why it's befuddling when black people think they supposed to have some equal rights and equal justice when that wasn't the purpose you was brought here for. So it's ludicrous for you to think that your enemies brought you here. And they didn't bring you here to enjoy things. Right. They didn't put you didn't get on no cruise ship. Oh, we going to explore America. Oh. No. That's not what the plan has been. Obviously, right? So he said, look, the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Go ahead.
Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before.
That means the Lord is against you. You go out think you're going to fight somebody. Next thing you know, you hightailing it up out of there. Go ahead.
And shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
And shall be taken as slaves. That's what remove means. All over the world. From your land, all over the world. All the kingdoms of the earth. Skip to verse 32 and go ahead. We're just going to hit some of the high points. Go ahead.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. And thine eyes shall look, and fell with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand.
Nothing you can do. They take your kids just like that, bam. And you just look at it. Nothing you can do about it. But again, Daniel read this and he understood some of it was being fulfilled on him as he was praying. He understood that the Lord confirmed some stuff in his day that was written back then. And we understand the same thing. Sons and daughters get taken at will by somebody else. But all of this is letting you know who's orchestrating it. God is. So once we realize our problems stem from God, we can easily solve the problem. Instead of worrying about attributing it to man, trying to make man fix it. Man don't even have that control. Thy sons, thy daughters shall be given to another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with long from them all the day long. There shall be no might in thy hand. 33.
The fruit of thy land and all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
See, you had a land once upon a time, and the Lord was letting you know somebody else was going to take and enjoy your land. Now you don't even know. We so displaced, we so lost, we don't even know we got a land and don't even care about it. I say that all the time. We are satisfied with being nobody from nowhere. We cool with that. What are you? Black, Negro, colored, Afro-American. We cool with swapping names every so often. The fruit of thy land, all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be what again?
Thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
So it's talking about this people. Who is only oppressed nowadays? And crushed, he said, continually. So we got a break last week. Guy went to jail. Let's see how long he stayed before you celebrate. Anyway. And that's not going to solve the problem. Skip down to verse 37. Go ahead.
And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee.
And you're going to be so messed up, you scattered out from your land, and once you get scattered out to other lands, other places, because we're not just in one place, it's known. I took a trip just to hear the girl say it. Me and my wife went, I don't know if it was at Bahamas or Jamaica, one of them places. But, you know, they was offering you all of those free breakfasts. You know, I need them. So they said, come hear the spiel about buying the time. So I told the sister, I said, look, we not buying nothing, but we going to come for the breakfast. He's like, yeah, most people do that. I go, that's fine. So as she was going through it, I just had to hear her say it. I said, do you know, how did you and y'all people get over here to this island? And she looked at me like I was a fool. But I just wanted to hear her say it. And everybody don't seem to understand that stuff. But she looked at me like I was a fool. She said, how you think on them ships like you got over there? I was like, girl, you got, at least you know that, girl. Like, hey, what's wrong with you asking me a question? Like, but I didn't know. I'm like, maybe they, you know, because like we say, we was somewhere in Mississippi. We couldn't even get no phone signal near mine. Said, them Negroes don't even know they free. So everybody don't understand that. But she knew it. She said, how you think we got over here on them same ships like you got over there? Where you crazy? And my wife cracked up like, goodness. She understood. So he said, when you get scattered out, verse 37, when you go to these places, you are going to become just a amazement to people. Like I said, everybody know we got a problem. Everybody know there is a problem. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb. There is no shortage of ugly sayings about us. I say this all the time. Every race, I'm sure, I know, got some ethnic slurs, right? Can't nobody compete with us. We won that one, though, right? Hands down. We won that one. We got more than anybody. But he said, thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb and a byword. You don't even know who you are, so now you accept all kind of names that you don't know. I like Muslims, at least they started using the X. The X, they said, and Malcolm X said it, he said, well, we use that because we done lost our, real nationality and who we are. So at least they acknowledge that that's the problem, right? He got deep into algebra. He said, so we put the X, in algebra. The X is unknown. Till we figure out, we going to use the X. I said, we done figured it out. We put Israel there. We Israel.
Yes, sir.
We the people of the Bible. But at least with that, he was acknowledging that, look, we don't have a clue who we are. We got the slave master's name. We don't even know who we are. That's what he talking about, a byword. You accept the bywords. Black is not a nationality. Afro-American is not a nationality. Color show not a nationality. Negro, none of it. But this is what he's letting us know. Astonishment, proverb, byword. Where, by the way?
Among all the nations whither the Lord shall lead thee.
Why? Once again, the Lord made you come to these places. The Lord brought you to America. The Lord led you to America, according to that, right? And you are what the Lord said you would be in America. The Lord can't lie. Even when it's some bad stuff, the Lord gonna make it happen. You know that even when Jesus had to go through some bad stuff. He had to get nailed to a tree. He said, I got to make that happen. Skip down to verse 45. Keep reading.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee.
Moreover, all these curses. People don't want to read this. That's why probably a lot of brothers and sisters call themselves Christians don't even want to read Deuteronomy 28. Because it's not pretty, is it? It mentioned blessings for about 14 verses. Then the rest, the hammer come down. And that's what has happened. But you need to know so you understand. So you understand the problem, then you can get to the solution. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee. Not blessing, curses. You can't ignore it or not claim it. Daniel claimed it. He said, the oath that's written in the law of Moses and the curses have come upon us. You brought this evil upon us just like you said. Now we asking you to have mercy. We messed up. We the ones wrong. Have mercy on it. And the Lord is apt to do that. Because again, we're going to get to it. It is a solution, and it will be, the problem will be solved. Just who going to partake in it is the only question. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and shall overtake thee till when?
Till thou be destroyed.
Till thou be destroyed as a people. He don't mean annihilated. He means you're going to be brought to nothing and you still going to be sitting on the ground right there. That's the destruction he's talking about. Amos 9 tell you that. Amos 9 said, I said I'm going to destroy that sinful kingdom. Talking about us off the face of the earth, except I won't totally annihilate. I won't totally wipe them out, utterly destroy the house of Jacob, because he must bring us back. Just like he had to fulfill the curse and curse us, he got to eventually bless us. He got to do that. But for him to do that, we got to start obeying. Because that's the only ones he going to bless. He ain't going to bless no disobedient people. He showed you what he do to them. Look at yourself. That's what he done. So that's what he's telling you here. All these curses going to come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. Go ahead.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Oh, it's a reason, though.
To keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee.
Okay, because you did not listen. You wouldn't hearken to the Lord. Go ahead, keep reading.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for
they
a wonder.
Meaning the curses going to rest upon you. That's going to be your ID now. Because you're a proverb and a byword, you don't even know who you are no more. They took everything. Keep saying you got slave master's name. You can't even identify yourself. No. So the only reason it's going to be known who you are is the curses. That's how we know we Israel. It ain't enough to say Israel black. A lot of black people that's not Israel. What's your ID card? Them curses. You just saw it, you know, what the Gentile got convicted of. The brother getting kneeled on, killed in the street, saying he can't breathe. Had one police officer even said, because a few brothers have said that, right? Can't breathe. Well, you got to breathe. You're talking. Like, are you stupid? Obviously, I'm having trouble breathing. And that's probably going to stop if you keep doing what you're doing to me, right? But that's crazy. Well, you must be breathing. I hear you talking. I guess you're going to fix that. Right. So, but what that does, that identifies the curse. That identifies that this is you. All these curses will come upon thee, pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed. Why? Because thou hearken. See, this is the reason. It ain't because somebody just like, you know, Muslims come up, and a lot of Israelites follow suit with that because they got the same doctrine, because it really started with Israel, that the white man is the devil. That's the reason all this happened. Wrong again. And we got some black devils. But this is happening because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God to do what?
To keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee.
Okay, 46 again.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
And these curses will be the only thing that will identify you, and they're going to be with you for the duration. To the end of time. That's why it's been so long. It's been a long time. You still in a predicament. Don't matter who the president is, don't matter who doing what, don't matter what country you at, that show you got to be coming from a higher source, brothers and sisters. Even people know. People in high place, they say, yeah, that's wrong. We need to do something. Clinton, when he was president, he wanted to literally apologize for slavery. They said, don't do it, Bill. Don't do it. They're going to think we owe them something. Well, you know you owe us something. No, think to it. But he couldn't do it. He didn't do it. Because that would have been too much. And all the thing he was talking about was apologize. He wasn't talking about no money, no reparations, none of that. So the curses persist. They upon you and your seed for a sign and a wonder. Sign is something to identify something. And a wonder is when you don't know what is identifying, what the heck is going on with them people. Upon thy seed forever. To the end, it's going to be that way. Go to verse 58 now. Go ahead.
If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law
that's the problem, isn't it? Go ahead.
If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God.
What's going to happen?
Then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful.
Then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, he said, right? Even sicknesses. See, that's another problem. How you get more sick than anybody else? Catch everything. Just bad, jacked up all around. Just like at the beginning. You can go back and look at the tape, beginning of this pandemic. A year ago. Remember how they were saying at first, black people immune. They can't get it. That was sounding cute, wasn't it? I said immediately, don't believe it. Even though we know it's some extra stuff in the water, but still, it don't matter. Whatever it is, it's going to hurt you worse. They had a saying, when white people catch a cold, what happens? Black people catch the flu. So you knew that was going to happen, regardless of what's going on. That had to happen. The next thing you know, they said, not only are black people getting it, they're getting it more than anybody. Well, the Lord said it here. He said he was going, if you don't observe to do what the Lord said, then the Lord will make your plague. He's talking about diseases, brothers and sisters. Everything you can think of, the Lord said, I'm going to put it on you. Everything you can think of bad, that is. It's called the curse for a reason. I will make your plagues wonderful, and not just yours, who?
And the plagues of thy seed.
And your children, the plagues of your seed, even what?
Even great plagues.
Even great plagues, and what?
And of long continuance.
Long continuance. What else?
And sore sicknesses.
Sore sicknesses, and what else?
And of long continuance.
And long continuance. 60. Go ahead, read 60.
Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt.
He talking diseases. He said, I'm going to bring on these on you. The ones you knew about and were scared of. I'm going to bring them all on you if you don't obey me. This was a warning from God, and it happened. Go ahead.
Moreover, he will bring upon thee all these diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee.
And they're going to be with you. 64. Go ahead.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
And the Lord going to scatter you among all people. It's not an accident. God's still on the throne. He's still directing things. He's still making it happen. He said he's going to watch upon the evil and bring it on you. So, of course, the Lord shall scatter you among all people. Go ahead.
From the one end of the earth even unto the other.
Uh-huh.
And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
And we still doing that, which is why things can't get no better. Until you realize you can't serve God how you want to. Like I'll say the same thing like Donald Trump said. You ain't got nothing to lose trying to do what the Bible says. At this point, you don't have nothing to lose. Trying to do what the Bible said. We got all these churches. You ain't got nothing to lose doing what the Bible said and start having service on the 7th day, which is Saturday. See, that's some of the stuff you will start to see some benefits from God because you will be obeying God then. But because he said you're going to scatter you out and you're going to keep serving these false gods, which only makes things continue. Because that's the problem. Go ahead, 65.
And among these nations shalt thou find no ease.
Oh, you weren't supposed to find no ease in America then, huh? You were supposed to be trembling even when the sirens get behind you. You weren't supposed to have no ease. Go ahead.
Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind.
Go ahead.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee.
Most likely to be killed by anybody. Police or yourself. Go ahead.
And thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life.
Keep going.
In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even. And at even thou shalt say, would God it were morning.
See, you never safe, never satisfied. Go ahead.
For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see.
Go ahead.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Now this is a famous verse because it mentions slave ships. That's what he's talking about. You're going to see they slave ships because he's going to tell you the result of this trip you going on these ships. And Egypt means slavery. That's all. Because you don't even need a ship to go from Israel to Egypt, literally. So it's a metaphor for slavery. The Lord, because he already told you in verse 64, he's going to scatter you among all people. That wasn't no nice scattering. The Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Go ahead.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
Now when you go on them ships, you go on for one purpose, to be sold to your enemies. So it wasn't for you to have equal rights. So you could think somebody's supposed to be fair with you. No, you better figure out why God did this. And fix your problem with him. That's why I had a lesson straight up titled, hey, we don't have a police shooting problem. We don't have a shooting each other problem. We actually just got a God problem. We got a God problem. That's the source of our problem. And that's because God got a problem with us and we refuse to fix it. God made this happen on ships, and there you're going to be sold to your enemies. For what?
For bondmen and bondwomen.
Male and female, right? They don't even give females a break. Even females get shot down. It be mostly men, but females get killed by brothers in the street, by police in the street. Sold unto your enemies for bondmen, bondwomen, and what?
And no man shall buy you.
That means where you get sold to, because you got sold, you're going to be there. Nobody going to get you out. Nobody going to come save you, buy you back. Only the Lord going to get you out. That's why we still here, brothers and sisters. You have to understand we still in the place we were brought as slaves. This is why you still oppressed. Even though things have gotten better, you have to acknowledge that. You have to acknowledge things have gotten better. That's because the Lord has showed some mercy. But then if you still don't acknowledge that the Lord is in control, he can make things worse too. He's in control. Let's go to Jeremiah 50. Because one of the first things you have to do is know who you are, that we the people of this Bible, and all the descriptions fit us, even all the bad stuff. That's the way we know. One verse here, Jeremiah 50 and verse 33. Because the Lord allowed it, then the Lord gonna fix it. That's why we waking up and turning back to him now. We know the solution. And it's not like the professor said, kill all the white people. Solution is repenting, turning back to God, and keep his commandment. That's what got you in trouble. That's what's going to fix it. 50 and 33. Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts. The children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
Now, the Lord of hosts said this. See, again, this what identifies us as the children of Israel and Judah, because we seeing nothing but oppression, and the Bible told you that's what you would see. Go on slave ships, sold to your enemy, oppressed, oppressed, oppressed. Your life hanging in doubt before you. Thus said the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. Go ahead.
And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go.
And you haven't went nowhere yet. That's why you still get the worst of everything. All that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Let's go to New Testament, Luke 21, because people say, well, Jesus don't care about all that stuff. He don't care about no black people, no solution, no slave ships, or none of that. Yes, he do. He's the one going to fix it for us. He said he was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So when he come back, he haven't forgotten Israel. But in the interim, he going to tell you what it is. What was going to happen even after he left, because we were still being stiff-necked. Luke 21 and verse 24, one verse, because he just said the children of Israel and children of Judah were oppressed together. All that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Like we've been saying forever, we're going to go back to Africa. We need to go back to Africa. Try it. That ain't never came to fruition, has it? But I'm telling you, if enough black people say they're going to go to Africa, you'll have trouble getting a passport. Luke 21:24. Go ahead.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations.
Oh, Jesus is concerned or acknowledging some slavery too, right? And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive as slaves. He's talking about his own people. And he let it be known we so hard-headed we wouldn't even listen to him when he came, let alone the other prophet. We killed other prophets, then killed him. We don't never want to hear the truth. Like some people that's probably filling up church, they think this lesson don't make no sense to them. But it's right out the Bible. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. Didn't we get led away captive to this nation? Who else, by the way? So we can find maybe it's not us. Maybe this is talking about somebody else. Maybe the people that say they Jews, right? Maybe this is them. Did they get led captive to this country? can't be talking about them then. He said all nations, right? I talked to the sister in Jamaica. She acknowledged they came on slave ships to that country. And we could go on and on and on across the world. That's where we at. That's how we got there. So first you're getting killed, though. Pay attention to that at the beginning of 24. Read it again. I'm sorry.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
First of all, you got to fall. You got to die. So people got to die. Fall by the edge of the sword, Jesus said. See, Jesus talked about ugly stuff too. It's not all pretty in the Bible. You need to just deal with the truth. The truth will set you free, no matter how ugly it is. Go ahead.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
Then the remainder will be led away captive worldwide, all nations. Isaiah 11 said to the four corners of the earth, and that's where the Lord going to bring us home from. Go ahead.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down to the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
And the Gentiles rule the world, so they control what happened in your homeland now. Because they rule the whole world. This is the times of the Gentiles. Isaiah 5. Isaiah 5. And we're going to go to Hosea after that and come back to Isaiah. So if you can put a mark in, after we get ready to leave, put a mark in Isaiah. Isaiah 5. Real quick, one verse. Because we don't realize our predicament is because we refuse to listen to what God's saying, do it. We attribute to everything else but that, having all kind of conferences and summits that never get to the truth. Isaiah 5 and 1 verse, verse 13. Isaiah 5 and 1 verse 13. Go ahead and read it. Go ahead.
Therefore my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge.
Oh, that's the reason. Jesus said you're going to be led away captive in all nations. Moses said you're going on ships. And to this day, anybody with common sense know that through that experience, we are still, to this day, a people that can't get right. Because you already, it's like starting a race. Like they had even a Gentile teacher did that. Because people try to act like, well, you can just do better. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You can do it. You just lazy. Martin Luther King answered that. You know what he said? He said it's cruel to tell a man to pull himself up by his bootstrap and he ain't got no boots. That's what he said. That don't make no sense. They had a Gentile teacher. He was teaching his class. And he showed them simply how oppression works. He said, look, everybody get on the line. We're going to run a race. Everybody get on the line. Got black students and white students. Everybody get on the line. We're going to run a race. He said, how many of y'all got single family? You know, got single parents? All the black people raising their hand, of course. Y'all take 10 steps back. And he went to another thing. He went to all this bad stuff that contribute to you being behind the 8 ball to start with. How many of you had this? How many of you had this? Black people study getting back. They way back. White people still on the front line. And then he said, okay, run. Who the heck you think gonna win that race? The ones that started way up here that didn't have all them difficulties to start with. That's who gonna win that race. And then he explained, he said, look, so it was easy for you to win the race. You need to be helping some of them back there. So anybody can see it if they really look at it with some just judgment. But he said, therefore my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge. What kind of knowledge would God be talking about anyway? Like how to write or read, period? No, knowledge of God, brothers and sisters. You don't know about God, you don't, and therefore you don't do what he say do. Notice what he said. We gone into captivity because they had no knowledge. Go ahead.
And their honorable men are famished.
And the leaders, that's your honorable men, who say They trying to help you, but they can't never get to the solution. They out there marching every time something happens. The Lord saying they famished. They don't have no knowledge. They can't give it to you. Why can't some of our big leaders that's out there so-called fighting, and I know they happy they got a victory, right? Why can't they tell us this, though? Most of them call themselves preachers in the first place, right? Reverend somebody. Why they can't tell us what the Bible say? Because that's the real source of the problem, according to the Bible. You got taken into slavery. The Bible said this is the reason. My people, that's this black people, are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished. That means they don't have no knowledge. Famished for knowledge. The leaders, go ahead.
And their multitude dried up with thirst.
And everybody else dying of thirst, spiritually speaking. A thirst for the word of God. A famine for the word. Go to Hosea 4. Hosea 4. It's a famous verse, but people don't know it's talking about Israel. Hosea 4. This door open. Y'all making too much noise. Hosea 4. Sometimes you got to take matters in your own hand. Isaiah 4. Hosea 4. Yeah, my fault. 6. Read verse 6 and then we're going to bounce around. Hosea 4 and 6, read it.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
See, a lot of people done heard this, right? But coupled with the same people in slavery. It's the same people, right? It's this black people. But it's all because you don't want to listen to what God is saying. He said, my people are destroyed. See, and he's not talking from the perspective that they gone and not all of them annihilated. No, they still here. But you destroyed as a people. You don't know who you are. You don't know where you're from. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to fix the problem. You don't even know what the problem is, really. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because what?
Because thou hast rejected knowledge.
And you reject knowledge. People reject the knowledge every Sunday in church where they're not getting none because the honorable man standing in the pulpit is famished. He can't give none. So everybody in the pews are dried up with thirst. This is what he's letting you know. That's why they reject knowledge. You say, well, look, you got to keep the laws in the Bible. Just keep the Sabbath day. That's why I'll be harping on that. If a city that got a bunch of black churches, starting with black, white ones need to do it too, but we're going to start with us because we got the real problem, right? If they just start keeping the Sabbath day, you will see some change from God. I guarantee you. You will see some change from God, but we don't want to do that. And even some going to do it. They say, well, we might try that, Brother Elijah, but can we still go to church on Sunday? No, shut down on Sunday. Just shut the doors on Sunday. You don't need to be there. One day is enough. The seventh day. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, and because thou hast rejected knowledge, you rejected what the Bible says, you're going to call yourself worshiping God. See, he's not talking to a people that's not worshiping God. He's talking to a people that's worshiping God how they want to. That's a recipe to get cursed. And all you got to do is look around. Again, it's evident we got more churches than anybody. We got more altars, more churches than anybody. We doing more praying than anybody. And got more curses than anybody, don't we? More problems. So much so, we need a solution, but the solution is here. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because thou hast rejected knowledge. I also will reject thee that what?
That thou shalt be no priest to me.
Because he made us priests to start with. Priests to the whole world. It goes with Amos 3 when he said, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you. Go ahead.
Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God.
Seeing you forgot the law of your God. He said in Hosea, I wrote to Israel, I wrote to him the great things of my law. Great thing. Like the Sabbath day is a great, you can't even just brush that off. It's the fourth of the 10 Commandments. If you think the 10 Commandments good, you got to think the Sabbath day good. And you're going to let somebody, well, it changed. We could do it any day, every day. No. It's the 7th day of the week. The calendar tells you Saturday is the 7th day. Get with the program. Got to wake up. So you reject. He said, I've written unto him the great things of my law, and you look at it as a strength. Do you know that people in church every Sunday, they think, when you say you don't eat pork, they think that's strange. We can just pray over it. That's not in the Bible. God said with his own mouth, brothers and sisters, don't eat swine. It's unclean. Don't eat it. That means obviously it's not good for you to eat too. And you wonder why a lot of us are dying from COVID. You off to a bad start already. So he said, because you have forgotten the law of thy God, I will do what?
I will also forget thy children.
I will forget your children. God is cold, isn't he? He'll take it to the children. I had your children getting killed out there. And now you wondering why. Back up to verse 1, and he had already got into it. Go ahead, verse 1.
Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel.
That's who he's talking to. And that's this black people. Go ahead.
For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land.
See, that's the problem. He said, I got a controversy. I got a problem. See, this is the problem right here. It's nobody else. It's no people. God controls all people. So your problem is right here because God said he got a problem with you. He said, I got a controversy with the inhabitants of the land. That's when we was in our own land. And he told you where you was going to end up, and here we are. That shows you God know how to fix his problems. Go ahead.
By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery.
See, that's what get on my nerves sometimes. Some of the pundits, even some of the radicals, they blame everything on white people. Oh, white people, they got us doing this. They got us being gay. They taking our masculinity. You've been gay. In your own land, we had sodomites. So much so, some of the righteous kings told me, look, y'all can't live here. Y'all got to go. They ain't kill them, but they said they had to get out. Asa put them out. Read 1 Kings 15. Asa said, all the sodomites got to go. All this idol worship, y'all got to stop that because he was a good king. He put things in perspective. So we've been had a problem. We ain't get a bunch of bad habits from the white man. Your bad habits what brought you here. In slavery. God telling you had bad habits in the land. We was killing each other in our own land. He talking about that. What he say? He said, by swearing, lying, and killing, and stealing, and committing adultery, they do what?
They break out, and blood toucheth blood.
Hey, your cup running over with blood. Go ahead.
Therefore shall the land mourn.
He said the land go mourn, and eventually we had to get out. Go ahead.
And everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish. With the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away.
See, we got everything jacked up now. But now, skip to 13 and read that. Verse 13, go ahead.
They sacrifice upon the tops of the mountain.
We worshiping God, but we worshiping false gods. He see us as a people making sacrifices, calling on a God, but not him. That makes it worse. They sacrifice upon the tops of the mountains. What else?
And burn incense upon the hills.
And you burning incense somewhere. Go ahead.
Under oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good.
Go ahead. So, but you really honor and you dedicate to false gods like Easter. Everybody just got through doing that. We beat them up so bad with Easter, they want to stop using that. But they still doing the same thing. We're going to call it Resurrection Sunday. That's a lie too. Because he wasn't resurrected on no Sunday. He was gone Sunday morning when Mary Magdalene and the women got there. It's still a lie. Let it go. We beating them up bad with it, though. He said, we can't use Easter. Let's call it Resurrection Sunday. Still alive. Don't want to let it go, though. See, this is what he's talking about, brothers, just believe it or not. He's talking about you worshiping. You sacrificing. Burning incense to your God. But he said, it's a problem, so what? Go ahead.
Because
the shadow thereof is good. Go ahead. Therefore what?
Therefore your daughters shall commit whoredom.
Oh, he said, you worshiping lies. You committing whoredom on me. You cheating on me, God is really saying. You cheating on me, so I tell you what. I'm going to let your children cheat. I'm going to let your wife and everybody cheat. Because you cheating on me to begin with. See, cheating go hand in hand. Therefore your daughter shall do what?
Shall commit whoredom.
Shall commit whoredom. See, and we good for calling women whores anyway, right? But we just acknowledging this, right? Hold this and hold that. We just acknowledging this. And it wouldn't be no whores if it wasn't whoremongers anyway. And he going to tell you that right now in here. He going to tell you that. I seen one brother, he was talking about women so bad he made me mad. He was talking about them on, all these women so-and-so, so-and-so, all these women so-and-so, these women so-and-so. I just came and read this to him. I posted this for him because he's going to tell you something about yourself in a minute. Go ahead.
And your spouses shall commit adultery.
And even your spouses, God's saying it, your spouses going to commit adultery. 14.
I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom.
Oh, isn't that the way it is now? Don't no immediate punishment come when daughters go out and sleep around, right? Everybody used to that practically now, right? That's what it's come to. But God said, I'm not going to even bring no swift judgment on. They doing wrong, but all of y'all are wrong. I would not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom. And that's the number one thing. Hey, we are committing whoredom, having so many babies. They say, look, we got to get them people some birth control. Another sign of the time. I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor what?
Nor your spouses when they commit adultery.
Oh, why you won't punish them? Go ahead.
For themselves are separated with whores.
Oh, because you separating with some whores. You sleep with some whores, then you get mad when they sleep around. He said, I ain't even going to punish them. Because all y'all some whores and whoremongers. I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouse when they commit adultery. For themselves are separated with whores. Go ahead.
And they sacrifice with harlots.
And they sacrifice with harlots. Go ahead.
Therefore the people that doth not understand shall fall.
And boy, have we fallen, huh? All right, go back to Isaiah. This time Isaiah 42. Isaiah 42. And we're going to pick it up at verse 22. But he keeps talking about this people this, this people that. That's the people of the Bible, and that fits nobody but this people that call themselves black people. Isaiah 42 and 22. Go ahead, read it.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
See, this is a people have everything taken from them. He's talking about other people hurting you, but he's telling you he's hurting you. He's really the one doing it. But that's how it actually happened to you. He's acknowledging it. You have had everything robbed from you. Take it. This is a people robbed and spoiled. Spoil is not something good that happened. It's something bad that happened. That's more along the lines of you just been plundered. You've been spoiled. Even when you say a baby is spoiled, that sounds cute, but really you saying something bad about the baby. Because that's why they say, you spoiled, they baby spoiled rotten. Ain't good for nothing. That's really what that means. So you had everything taken from you. You done been plundered. This is the people robbed and spoiled. What's going on with them? Let's see specifically. Go ahead.
They are all of them snared in holes.
See, they got some kind of trick bag they in. They all snared in a hole. Go ahead.
And they are hid in prison house.
And we filling up the prison house. So they go to penal institution. That's another problem, right? You got one problem after another, but they all come from God. That's where the solution lies. Say, oh, they not right. They lock us up. They did police brutality on brothers, and then they still get him a case. And they done beat him up. But then you got to go to court for your case. Nose and face all busted up. Well, what happened? Oh, he hit his head getting in the car. Go ahead.
They are for a prey and none delivered.
Oh, they being taken advantage of. Don't nobody save them either. This people is spoiled and robbed. They snared in holes. They hid in prison houses. They are for a prey and nobody deliver them. We need some deliverance still today. Even after a good verdict, some other brothers still getting killed. It's going to keep happening. Go ahead.
For a spoil and none saith, restore.
And taking advantage of it. Don't nobody say, give it back. Reparations. They talk about reparations, but it never happened. They had some suburb, I think was it Everson somewhere, they said they was going to give reparations. I'm still waiting on some money to flow. But go ahead. 23.
Who among you will give ear to this?
But now all that bad stuff happening, he said they in prison houses, they snared, they robbed, they spoiled. All that bad stuff happened to one people, brothers and sisters. But what God want to know is who going to listen and understand what the real problem is so you can fix it, so you could get to the solution. That's what God is studying, emphasizing. He acknowledging the problem. See, we acknowledge the problem all over the place, 15 of them. We acknowledge them. But what's the one source of the problem? God, he take you there. Who gonna listen, though, is the question. Who among you will give ear to this? Go ahead.
Who will hearken and hear for the time to come?
Who will hearken to hear in the future what this is, why this is happening? Who is controlling it? Who gonna listen is the question. Go ahead.
Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers?
He said we robbed and spoiled, right? He know he got other people doing it, but what God wants you to realize, I'm controlling it. Now when you going to turn back to me and do what I've been telling you to do? It's not going to get no better until you do that. I'm controlling it. So he asked the all-important question, who is doing it really? Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? What's the answer?
Did not the Lord?
Did not the Lord? Of course. Go ahead. Why?
He against whom we have sinned, for they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law.
It always go back to us being disobedient. We wouldn't listen to him. We would not hearken to his ways. Neither were we obedient to his law. Neither will we be obedient to his law now. While we study marching and complaining about the problem, we won't be obedient. They was out there rioting and tearing stuff up last Pentecost. They should have been with us celebrating Pentecost, because that didn't fix nothing. They might have said, well, that helped us get a guilty verdict. It helped, but let's see the next time. They should remember something. Even O.J. went to jail later. You was happy he got off that time. Well, they put O.J. in a box and said, we're going to get you. Jump. And they made him jump. They pulled, I like to call it a Shimei. They did what Solomon did to Shimei. Solomon told Shimei, don't leave Jerusalem or you in trouble. And he left Jerusalem, he got killed. But now, who did it? Who gave Jacob for a spoil, Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord against whom we have sinned? For we went walking his ways, neither were we obedient to his law. So the Lord put it on us, 25.
Therefore he hath poured upon him the fury of his anger.
God then poured upon his people the fury of his anger. Go ahead.
And the strength of battle.
And the strength of the battle. What's going on?
And it have set him on fire round about.
We are people on fire. That's why we can't come and just deal with one problem. We got all kind of problems. We got a litany of problems across the board to address. That's why he called it you on fire. You so bad off, you are a people technically for all intents and purposes that are on fire. You on fire. Somebody need to put the fire out. He said, and it has set him on fire round about. But check this out. This is the most amazing thing of all of this right here. What?
Yet he knew not.
Now, who in the world could ever be on fire and not know it, brothers and sisters? But that's what he's likening our response to our predicament, not attributing, not realize that God can set you on fire. You mad at everybody, not acknowledging your shortcomings and that God is in control. You on fire and don't even know it. And Israel will tell you that too. Well, we under a curse. But I'm not cursed. I'm not claiming that. You are one of the ones saying you don't realize you're on fire. Go ahead. What else?
And it burns him.
And it's burning you, yet what?
Yet he laid it not to heart.
And you still won't lay it to heart. That's why it still gets worse. Zechariah 11. Zechariah 11. And we're going to pick it up at verse 4. Zechariah 11 and verse 4. Zechariah 11 and 4. Go ahead and read it.
Thus saith the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter.
See, when we preaching, we dealing with a people that's been slaughtered, robbed, and plundered. So even now, that's who we preaching to. A slaughtered people. Go ahead.
Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
See, this is why this is the norm. That's why the verdict last week was a great surprise to almost everybody, even though it's obvious. It shouldn't have really been no surprise, but being that it don't never go that way, of course it was a surprise, right? But this is why, because this is the order of the day. What is it? He said, you the flock of the slaughter, so you being taken advantage of. And what did he say, verse 5, whose possessors? That means somebody, first of all, been owning you, if they are your possessors. Whose possessors slay them, literally kill you, and hold themselves not guilty. So all the normal not guilty verdicts, hey, that's in the Bible. That's what he said. That's why this is definitely an exception to the rule, right? But it still don't change the order of the day. An exception still don't change the rule, brother. So that's what we need to understand. I'm saying this because some people are going to try to make it like, oh, we on our way now, and you're on your way back here. That's where you're on your way to. Back here. Only way out of here is not marching, rioting. Only way out of this trouble is to turn back to God and start keeping his law. That's it. So that ain't going to last. That verdict ain't going to last. He might get a little time. Even though they convicted a cop in Chicago, Laquan McDonald murder. They convicted him. He got a handful of years. He might be out now. I don't know. He didn't get much time. What, 6 years or something? 7? That's the going rate for murder of a brother, huh? But, same thing with this one. You don't even know how that's going to turn out. They're going to appeal. They already said, well, you know, they wouldn't change the venue. They wouldn't do this. So, but he telling you in the Bible, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And on the other hand, what else?
And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord.
So first of all, you got to find, to know who this is, you got to find the people that's been bought and sold. And you don't have to go back that far to find this people. And even still today in some instances, but he said, they that sell them say, what? Blessed be the Lord. Why?
For I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
And the shepherds don't pity it. That's why they won't tell us none of this. The shepherds are famished. The shepherds only looking out for themselves. That's why a lot of these radical types, they radical, they raising all that fuss. All they got to do is throw them a few dollars. But even whatever, they ain't never fixing the problem. The problem not getting no better. Nobody getting no knowledge and understanding about what's really going on. They get one of them, they give them a TV show. They be quiet. They know how to fix it because they don't pity the people either. That's why they don't tell you the truth of the matter. Verse 14, go ahead.
Then I cut asunder mine other staff, even bands, that I might break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel.
See, and again, we can't just focus on the police killings. That's one problem. What's another problem? We killing ourselves. There's no brotherhood. But he told you here in the scripture, I will break the brotherhood. I will cut asunder my other staff, even bands, that I might break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. So we are our own worst enemy. That's a problem. See, I told you the problems are unlimited. You can't even keep track of all the problems. But you can really narrow it down to one, is God. He got a problem with us, and he been hurting us. That's it in a nutshell. Jeremiah 9. Jeremiah 9. So that's what once we know the real source of the problem, that it comes from God for our disobedience, then we can easily get to the solution, because he's telling you right here. Easy. Jeremiah 9. Pick it up at verse 12. Go ahead and read it.
Who is the wise man that may understand this?
See, the Lord wants to see who going to listen and understand what is really going on. It's bigger than what you see right in front of your eyes. Go ahead.
And who is he to whom the mouth of the Lord have spoken, that he may declare it? For what the land perisheth.
What's the reason the land perished? Go ahead.
And is burned up like a wilderness that none passeth through. And the Lord saith, because they have forsaken my law, which I set before them, and have not obeyed my voice, neither walk therein.
That's always the problem, isn't it? That's the real problem. The Lord said, you want to know what it is? Who's going to listen to hear? I'm going to say it one more time. Why is all this drama hitting y'all? Because they have forsaken my law and won't be obedient to my commandments. Go ahead.
But I have walked after the imagination of their own heart.
But we have walked after the imagination of our own heart even to this day in all our churches. Go ahead.
And after Baalim, which their fathers taught them.
See, false gods. Going to church on Sunday. Your father taught you to do that. It's not in the Bible. Don't have nothing to do with the God of this Bible. He said, remember the Sabbath, the seventh day, to keep it holy. And you can look on the calendar and find out what it is. Go ahead.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will feed them, even this people, with wormwood.
He said, I'm going to pay you for that. And we've been getting paid. He said he was going to punish us. Can't be evil in the city. He haven't done it. I will feed them, even this people. What people? That's this black people. That's all you known by. So I just call you that. Because that's all we know nowadays. Here you go, right here. He said, even this people with wormwood, and what else?
And give them water of gall to drink.
And what else?
I will scatter them also among the heathen.
Oh, that's your end result. This is what gets you here. He said, I will scatter them also among the nations. That's what heathen is. See, heathen mean other nations. Some of my Israelite brothers seem to be confused on what Gentile and heathen mean. It means the other people. We scattered among them. I will scatter them also among the heathen. Go ahead.
Whom neither they nor their fathers have known. And I will send a sword after them till I have consumed them.
Well, God is something else, right? He's the worst parent on the block. The average parent, the best they'd do with a disobedient child is kick him out the house. I keep telling you, God is worse than that parent. God will kick a disobedient child out and then follow him to his auntie house, his grandmama house, and whoop his butt over there. Oh, you thought you was going to be safe over here, huh? Bow! He ain't going to let you get no rest. No, you still ain't going to get no peace. Well, I ain't even at your house no more. I don't care. Bam! That's what God's saying. He said, I will scatter them also among the heathen whom neither they nor their fathers have known, and I will send a sword after them. I'm going to follow behind them with a sword to kill they butt, left and right, till I have consumed them. 17.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider ye.
He said, I'll tell you what you do. He said, I'm going to hurt you so bad. This is what I need you to do. Consider what I'm going to do for you and get ready for it and do this. What is it?
And call for the mourning women, that they may come, and send for cunning women, that they may come. And let them make haste and take up a wailing for us, that our eyes may run down with tears, and our eyelids gush out with water.
See, you know what? God is cold, boy. God said, I tell you what, I'm going to hurt you bad. Get some of them cunning women. What do you mean cunning women? Get some of them women that know how to shake the crowd up, that know how to start crying. I've been at funerals, brothers and sisters, and everybody be kind of cool. All it takes is one grandma. One grandma, she started with, Everybody break loose. Lord said, get you some of them. You're going to need them. Get you some of them good criers. Because I'm going to give you something to cry about. That's like a parent say, kid crying for nothing. Say, you want me to give you something to cry about? Lord said, I'm going to give you something to cry about. Call them good, them women that really know how to cut a cry. Had a whole crowd messed up. My grandmother did it at my mother's funeral. Everybody was cool for a minute, but first the funeral directors messed it up. They gonna come, everybody calm down, everybody cool. They gonna have the casket over. They got the casket on wheels. They gonna like wave it across the front row. My grandmother cut her. Ah! And the whole place erupt. Well, that's what the Lord's saying. He said, look, thus said the Lord, consider ye and call for the mourning women at verse 17, that they may come, and send for the cunning women, that they may come, and let them make haste and take up a wailing for us. That's what he wants them for. That our eyes may run down with tears and our eyelids gush out with waters. 19.
For a voice of wailing is heard out of Zion.
Uh-huh.
How are we spoiled?
Go ahead. How are we spoiled? Go ahead.
We are greatly confounded because we are forsaken the land.
That's the reason why. Go ahead.
Because our dwellings have cast us out.
Uh-huh.
Yet hear the word of the Lord, O ye women, and let your ear receive the word of his mouth. And teach your daughters wailing.
He said, even tell these women to teach their daughters wailing. Teach them how to cry good. They're going to need it. That is something, isn't it? Lord said, I know how to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you. You better learn how to cry. Teach your daughters wailing. Who ever heard of such a thing? Go ahead.
And everyone her neighbor lamentation.
And teach everyone your neighbor lamentation. Teach them how to mourn. Teach them how to even sing the blues. Where do you think that came from? But go ahead. Why? Why all of this? Why learn how to cry? Why call these wailing women? Why? 21.
For death is come up into our windows.
Death is come up in our windows. Go ahead.
And is entered into our palaces to cut off the children from without and the young men from the streets.
And it's still happening, is it? Cut off the children from without and the young men from the streets. Hosea 13. See, you got to really understand the problem and acknowledge the problem to get to the solution. That's the first step in fixing a problem. You got to acknowledge there is a problem, what it is, then you could get to it. So once we stop blaming everybody else, yeah, people that done us wrong, we understand that there are police killings. But there's a whole lot of other stuff that lets you know it's bigger than that. Hosea 13 and 9. Go ahead, read it.
O Israel, thou hast destroyed thyself.
Oh, that's the bottom line. You done it to yourself in actuality. Why? By disobedience. O Israel, thou hast destroyed thyself. But guess what?
But in me is thine help.
Oh, but it's still some hope. It's still some help. That's the good news, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Because after all, we here for the solution, right? But in me is your help. Go right to the 14th chapter. You finish that? 14 and 1. Go ahead.
Israel, return unto the Lord thy God.
Oh, this is the answer. Return to the Lord. Quit marching. Quit worrying about other people. Do your part and turn back and start serving God. Go ahead.
For thou hast fallen by thine iniquity.
See, your sin is the problem, Israel. Black people. Go ahead.
Take with you words and turn to the Lord.
Take with you words and turn to the Lord, he said. Go ahead.
Say unto him, take away all iniquity and receive us graciously.
That's what you... Go ahead. So what? I'm sorry.
So will we render the calves of our lips.
See, that's what you need to do and call on the Lord in righteousness. But skip to 4, because what will the Lord do? Go ahead.
I will heal their backsliding.
I
will love them freely.
He said, I will heal their backsliding if you do that. If you come back to him, acknowledge he the one been hurting. I will heal their backsliding. I will love them freely. Why?
For mine anger is turned away from him.
See, he's going to turn his anger away. He acknowledges it's his anger that's been doing this to us. Ezekiel 6. We're almost done. Ezekiel 6. and we're going to pick it up at verse 7. Ezekiel 6 and verse 7. Turn back and start doing what God told you to do in the first place. That's the solution. Period. The problem starts with God. He got a problem with us, and that's what needs to be fixed. Period. Ezekiel 6 and 7. Go ahead, read it.
And the slain shall fall in the midst of you.
See, that's what's been happening all this time. We've been getting killed left and right, even when we were still in our land. The slain been falling in the midst of us. Go ahead.
And ye shall know that I am the Lord.
You're going to know. You should know the Lord is doing this. But anyway, go ahead.
Yet will I leave a remnant, that ye may have some that shall escape the sword among the nations.
See, but there go the mercy of the Lord. He said, I'm going to leave a remnant. I got to save some of y'all. Even when you scattered out in all these countries, and we are remnant now because we still here, aren't we? And we doing better because we turning back to the Lord. That's why the Lord having mercy on us. He said he'd be a sanctuary, a little sanctuary to those in the land of their enemy. First, you got to even know you're in this land of your enemies. You still got to remember that. He said, yet would I lead a remnant that ye may have some that shall escape the sword among the nations. Go ahead.
When ye shall be scattered through the country.
Here we are, but we escaped thus far, right? Go ahead.
And they that escape of you shall remember me among the nations.
And we doing that in this country and other countries too. They that escape of you shall do what? Remember me among the nations. We waking up. We like, wait a minute. This is the problem. See, this is exactly what happened. But we need a lot more to start doing it. But that's what we doing here. That's why we here today on the Sabbath. That's why we keep the laws and statutes. That's why we keep the holy days. We don't eat pork. We doing the best we can to turn back and be obedient. This is what he said here, though. He said, and they that escape of you shall remember me among the nations. That's where we at, right? Waking up. Whither they what?
Whither they shall be carried captive.
That's how we got here, right? Our ancestors was carried captive and we ain't went home. And now we waking up. Is that a coincidence? No, it's written right here. Go ahead.
I am broken with their whorish heart.
He said, because I am broken with their whorish heart. That's their false worship. Go ahead.
Which have departed from me, and with their eyes which go a-whoring after their idol. And they shall loathe themselves for the evils which they have committed in all their abominations.
And see, you realize it's you. It's not nobody else's fault. It's you. We need to loathe ourselves for all that we done wrong. All our abominations. Go ahead.
And they shall know that I am the Lord.
And we do know that. Go ahead.
And that I have not said in vain that I would do this evil unto them.
And he have not said it in vain, didn't he? Because we know it can't be evil in the city unless he done it, right? He did not say in vain he was going to do all this evil to us because we are still experiencing it, aren't we? We still see it. Got a good verdict. Don't be too happy, though. Deuteronomy 30. 30:1. He had foretold the end from the beginning. Even when he announced the curse, he told you how the curses was going to end. Like he just told us in Ezekiel. We're going to remember him in far countries, he said. Deuteronomy 30:1. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee.
There you go again. After you've been blessed for a moment and then been cursed forever, seem like you're going to eventually start to wake up. Because you got to wake up because you forgot who you are. You don't know who you are. You've been lost in other countries. He said, now you calling it to mind among the countries. Just what he said to Ezekiel. You're going to remember him. We're going to remember that this is the reason we're in this predicament. Ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. Go ahead.
And shall return unto the Lord thy God.
Oh, that's the objective. That's the solution. You need to return. And we're doing our part. That's why we here set up to do what the Lord's commandments say and tell people about it. And they shall return unto me. Go ahead.
And shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day. Thou and thy children. With all thine heart and with all thy soul.
That's the solution. Turn back. You doing this, you still in captivity. We in captivity now. We haven't went home. So what's that going to induce the Lord to do when we turn back like we doing now and keep his commandments? It's just a matter of time. What's that's going to allow the Lord to do for you, for us? Verse 3.
That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity.
You mean he going to get us out of captivity once and for all? Turn your captivity. That's what that means. Bring you home. Well, that's strange. We don't even know we got a home. But we do because we read the Bible. I mean, and we read the Bible. Not like somebody going to the average church. He said that then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and do what?
And have compassion upon thee.
Oh, we need that, don't we? Go ahead.
And will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee.
Oh, he going to gather you from these nations where you scattered at. You still scattered. The young lady I met in Jamaica, whatever, I bet she's still in Jamaica. We still need to be gathered. But it's predicated on us turning back, obeying the Lord's commandments. Go ahead.
If any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee.
He can't lose none of us. Wherever we at, he going to find us and bring us back when we start being obedient. Go ahead.
And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed.
You going to your land. You ain't going to heaven either. People got that all messed up. The objective is not to gather you from places and take you to heaven. The objective is to gather you and take you to your land. Finish that.
And thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy father.
Now he's going to bless you better than your forefathers ever were. Matthew 24. Let's see when we get to it. Even Jesus is the gatherer. People don't know that. He didn't say he was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel for nothing. Like he now all of a sudden they done made you think Jesus don't care about Israel. Look, he going to gather us from slavery. He's the one. Matthew 24 and 29. Go ahead, read it.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
See, he coming back with power and great glory, but at the top of his agenda, brothers and sisters, is to gather Israel from slavery. People don't know that part. To do what Moses just told us in Deuteronomy 30. He said, wherever you scattered at, the Lord going to gather you from then. If you scatter out to the outmost parts of heaven, I'm going to bring you. Notice what 31 said. The first thing at the top of Jesus' agenda. Go ahead.
And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet. And they
First
shall...
of all, the trumpet is key, which is why we still celebrate the holy day about the trumpet. Because the angel going to blow the trumpet, and he going to send his angels what?
And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds.
Oh, they're going to gather together his chosen. That's Israel. From worldwide slavery, from the four winds. Isaiah said the four corners of the earth. Isaiah 11. Read that on your own. That's the four winds. From what?
From one end of heaven to the other.
From one end of heaven to the other. That's exactly what Moses said. If you be scattered out to the outmost parts of heaven, he used the terminology of heaven. Even though right here on earth. From one